Today we're going to dye yellow yarns, or we're going to aim for yellow, and we're going to use wolf moss, a lichen that grows near the Cascade Mountains. So us Chilkat, Haida, and Tsimshian people would always have to trade for it. There are lots of reasons why we used wolf moss, and the one that we kind of keep going back to is that it is shelf stable so that we could dye at any point. And most of the yellows that we can get in Southeast Alaska have to be dyed with right away. So wolf moss is amazing because you can store it in your little plastic bag and use it when you need to. We are going to use our wolf moss to make a beautiful yellow. And so you can see the little tiny fibers in this wolf moss. This is really toxic stuff, especially if you're cooking it in human urine, which is documented in many books. The human urine sucks the color right out of the wolf moss in like the first couple of minutes. And without that urine element, it does take a little bit longer for the water to just do its work to break down the lichen. So we're going to put about a pound of wolf moss into our pot. Just going to put them all in. La, la, la. When you are harvesting or asking people to harvest your wolf moss, ask them to get it off of branches that have fallen down. Don't go to the trees and just pull it right off of the trees, because this, again, is a living being. So we want to be aware of, letting it live as long as possible and keeping that gratitude alive. Always saying, thank you, we're going to make something beautiful. So we're going to put all that in. I totally forgot we were going to put this into a mesh lingerie bag, but it doesn't break apart as much as you think. So we're just going to completely submerge it under here and cover it completely in water. I'll show you. See that? And you can see there are some little pieces. You can see there are some little debris pieces of bark and other things like that. I'm not really worried about those pieces making a different color for us. We've got such a good volume of wolf moss in here, it's not going to be that big of a deal. So we are going to leave our wolf moss in this pot for an hour, maybe an hour to 3 hours, to see how quickly our wolf moss will turn a grayish color and kind of be a little bit void of color and get a nice yellow dye bath going before we add our yarns. Okay, so let's let this sit and cook. We can roll this boil all we want because there's no yarns in it, and we'll get a nice yellow bath going. We've been cooking our wolf moss for over an hour in pure water, and we still have some brilliant, brilliant chartreuse color in here in the moss itself. The liquid is turning a little yellow, so it's almost ready. But if we were cooking this in human urine that we gather over, weeks or however long, this wolf moss would already be completely gray by the time we want to, 5 minutes after being in the hot urine, it will be completely devoid of color, and all the yellow will be in the actual dye bath itself. So because we are cooking inside, and because it's a legitimate option, we are cooking with water only right here. But just know that if you save your urine and have yourself a few gallons of human urine and you put your wolf moss down into it, it is so fast to get the color extracted out of the wolf moss. This gorgeous chartreuse green would be completely devoid of color if we were cooking it in human urine. Just in like 5 minutes, just totally gray, bland stuff, but it's such a beautiful color. Yes? I love it so much. All right, we are ready to take all of our wolf moss out. It's been cooking for quite a few hours, and it still has some of its bright chartreuse in it, so we can cook this again in a urine pot and get more of this color out of it. So that's kind of fun. Get kind of a double dye bath. Okay. And get most of the little pieces out of the pot. Okay. Okay. All right, so that is ready. We've got that out of the pot. Still quite a bit of color in the wolf moss. And again, it will turn a gray color if we cooked this in human urine, and it would yield a similar color. But we'll do that again next time when we're cooking outside. We have pulled all of the wolf moss out of the liquid, so we've got this beautiful yellow bath, and we're going to lower in some skeins that have already been mordanted. Again, we don't have to mordant when we're using wolf moss. The lichen grabs just fine into the yarns, and we're going to lower a skein down into the liquid. It has come back to temperature, so we're not putting it into a very hot pot. We're going to cook these, put them right down in, and pretty immediately they will have color, like they're going to grab onto that color. Watch this. So I'm going to lower one in and just show you that it's already sucking up that yellow, right? It's already turning wolf moss yellow. We can bring this back up to temperature, and once it's boiling, simmering, you can simmer it for about an hour, but really you just want to simmer it until it exhausts the color. Okay, so that yellow bath is going to turn clear. That's what we mean by exhaust. So really, it's going to be so fast. This is already pulling out such good color, this wolf moss yellow, and we're going to cook it just enough, heat it up just enough to make that color really disappear and exhaust out of the water. It's so pretty!